Hello, fellow souls incarnated on this earth school at this time. Greetings to you. I'm Virginia Schmidt from Divinity School, for those of you who don't know me. Today's lesson from the workbook of A Course in Miracles is, let me recognize the problem so that it may be solved. And it talks about how there seems to be this myriad of problems in our lives, right? On the level of separation, when in fact that is the only problem, and these are all just representations of that singular problem, the singular problem that we all seem to face here on this earth school, that we're all here to solve, the problem of separation. And as I began to receive this lesson, letting my mind and my body relax for soul light to be shed upon it, as it's teaching, this is all just one problem. And if you recognize what the problem truly is, then you stop trying to solve all these problems one at a time separately, right? And then there's always more coming in, we can never solve them, and it's this frenzy and we're freaking out. And if you recognize it's all just one problem, the problem of separation, then you can recognize it and thus allow it to be solved. And what came to me was, oh, so all of these problems that are coming to me are really the same problem, which is my perceiving of the problems as separate from myself. And I'll look forward to hearing you guys' thoughts on this as well. This is what came to me, and my intention is that it may serve you in your own practice of this suggestion or exercise in A Course in Miracles. So if all problems are really the same, which is the problem of separation, then the problem is that I'm perceiving these problems as outside of myself. I'm perceiving them as something that isn't me. And so the thought that came to me, the messages that came through me were, what if every single problem that's coming to us, every single outside situation, or even inside, every single fear-based or negative thought or experience that's coming to us is actually just a direct and perfect reflection of something that we have done, of an intention that we have set, negative or fear-based thought or feeling of or intention that we have had either in this life or a past life, or an action, a fear-based thought or feeling or action that we have had either in this life or a past life. And as we know that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, what if every single negative or fear-based problem that seems to be coming to us is, and seems to be outside of ourselves, seems to be separate of us, is actually us just giving ourselves another chance to accept that part of ourselves, to seemingly forgive something else or someone else outside of ourselves. But in that true forgiveness, which isn't an outside action, it's an intention, it's the truth of the heart. We know, our hearts know, our energy knows, our soul knows when we've truly forgiven someone or something. So what if actually every single one of these seeming myriad of problems, seeming different problems, are just this ever-changing shape chance, this ever reflecting back to ourselves of every time that we have viewed reality through fear rather than love, of every time that we've refused to love or accept ourselves, and it's just another chance to do that. And so they're not actually different problems. It's all the same problem of a lack of lifting fear to love, of transmuting fear to love, of allowing ourselves to accept everything as part of ourselves, and that is to love it. And so all of these seeming grievances are miracles because each one is a chance for atonement. Each one is a chance to show ourselves that we've forgiven ourselves for that. And this could be seen on a lot of different levels. It could be, I believe it could be seen on quite a literal level of every seeming grievance that we are perceiving in this life, we have literally done in this life or a past life. And again, whether that's in action or in thought or feeling or intention. So literally, and that's karma, right? This is what I'm talking about. This is all karma. So literally, every single seeming myriad of problem is just that same, that continuation of that same karma of having something come to us for forgiveness or to be transmuted or lifted into love, and choosing fear, choosing judgment, choosing separation. And so these problems, seemingly different but all really the same, keep coming to us saying, do you accept that we aren't separate from you? Do you love us? Do you forgive yourself? Here's another chance to forgive yourself. Here's another chance to forgive yourself. And I love how Florence Scovel Shinn talks about karma and forgiveness and grace. She talks about it, or she frames it in such a way that that's what Jesus or Yeshua came to teach us, which is that without forgiveness, we continue to be subject to karma. We continue to be on the law, under the law of karma, rather than the grace of forgiveness. We continue to be on that wheel. And so Florence Scovel Shinn talks about how Jesus came to show us, and many great teachers, many avatars, many ascended masters throughout history came to show us that through forgiveness, through the grace of forgiveness, we no longer have to be subject to the law of karma. And so karma, it's like we continue on the wheel of karma as long as we perceive these problems that arise as separate and outside of us, rather than accepting them as all one, which is the one problem of believing that anything is separate from anything, rather than seeing that all is one, all is love, and all is us. All is a perfect reflection, a perfect playback of that which we have sent out. And so we're just here to keep forgiving the same problem, which is seeing anything as separate from ourselves, seeing anything as needing to be pushed away, rather than accepted, integrated, lifted, transmuted into love. And I'm going to share with you guys, this also makes me think, and you've probably heard this before. I feel like Einstein also said this, but I watched a great video yesterday by a man named Lars Muehl. A lot of you have probably heard of him. I'll link to one of his videos in the comments below. And he talks about how we can't solve problems on the level of problems. We have to go to the level of answers. And I feel like this all ties in together, right? It's like we can't solve any grievance on the level of grievances. We have to transmute or lift it to the level of miracles. We can't dissolve fear on the level of fear. We have to transmute and lift it to the level of miracles. We can't dissolve or resolve karma when we're still on that karmic wheel. We have to step outside of it through the grace of forgiveness. And so I really love that. Again, the workbook lesson from A Course in Miracles is, let me recognize the problem so that I can allow it to be solved. And so it's like, let me recognize that whatever's happening here is happening on that lower level of problems, which is all just one problem, the problem of separation. And in recognizing that, I can be lifted, I can consciously lift it, I can transmute it to the level of love, miracles, forgiveness, acceptance. And in that, my friends, there's just nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. It's all just coming to you for forgiveness and love. And it's only you and yourself that you are forgiving and loving. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing outside of you that can hurt you. It's just like, how long will you keep thinking that there are things outside of you that can hurt you? Or at what point will you accept and forgive all that comes to you to be healed and forgiven and transmuted and lifted to the level of the heart, of love, of miracles? So that you can see there's not all of these problems that need to be solved. There's just the one problem of thinking that anything is separate and thus must be kept separate, must be defended from and pushed away from you, when really it's all you. It's all you asking to be forgiven, to be given grace, to be held in love, to be integrated and accepted into the love you are, and to be forgiven for all of those times that you've chosen to react and to push away and to stay on the wheel of karma instead of loving, lifting, accepting, and integrating. I look forward to you guys' thoughts on this. And for me, this is just really comforting. Every single negative or seemingly outside or fear-based thing that comes my way today, it's like, oh, yes. Thank you for this chance to forgive myself for my grievances in the past, for not accepting this as part of myself in the past, for not seeing the truth of this as love. This is awesome. I can forgive myself and accept myself for this right now. Thank you for this chance for atonement. I'm so glad that I have seen this seemingly myriad problem that is all one, that I may give it to love, the Holy Spirit, God, Source, Divinity, Truth, to be lifted, transmuted, solved. May we more and more consciously and more often live in the realm of love, of solutions, of truth. I love you guys so much, and I'm so glad we're on this journey together, and I hope you have an amazing day. Mwah. I'll talk to you soon.